Hey everyone, so I just wanted to come on here and give a little message. So, the last few readings that I did had some really, really heavy, dark energies. First, I just wanted to say that, I don't always have dark messages like that. Clearly, Spirit, really just wanted to send some messages to some of you divine feminines out there who are really suffering. Um, I didn't even realize, I kept saying that, it was for a small group. However, I had so many comments. I even had, a lot of emails, people who emailed and reached out to me who, really thanked me, for relating those messages because clearly they had been suffering and, you know, they don't really see those in readings. I've always said from the beginning that, I'm not just a light reader, but, I also touch on the dark because I do have some experience, um, in the conjure world. So, you know, um, I feel like, again, that's why Spirit reached out to me to give the message. Um, I really do feel for all of you who are going through that. I really do. Um, I really had to meditate and, really talk with Spirit and, ask why is this coming up all of a sudden? Because again, before it even came up in my readings, I was seeing it in personal readings. So then the fact that it was coming up in, the YouTube readings, I was like, wow, what's what's really going on here? So, you know, um, if some of you didn't get a chance to see the comment that I posted, right now there seems to be a lot of new, a lot of new TV shows, that are really, catching the attention of people. Vampires were a thing, um, and you know, in the last 10 years, but right now, witches is kind of, the popularity right now. But what people don't understand is that, you know, magic, if you're not experienced and you don't know what you're doing, you can really cause some harm. And I'll give you some examples. Um, you know, you can call upon certain deities that do delve in the darker areas. The problem with that is that those deities will definitely give you, what it is that you're seeking. Okay? They will. The thing is that every deity has personal, how do I say, they have their own personal offerings that they like in return. For instance, let's just talk about the saints. The saints are the same way. Saint Expedite, he's one of those saints who works very, very fast. If you are in need of money, you can call upon Saint Expedite, and he works very, very fast. Here's the thing, though. Even with a saint like Saint Expedite, he works very fast, and as soon as he grants you your petition, you have to also be very attentive and very fast in giving him the things that he likes, like pound cake and flowers and water, and having a special altar, with his picture. And if he grants you your petition, and you do not act fast in giving him the things um, that he likes, he will actually take back the petition that he granted you. And that's a saint. So now let's talk about, a couple of deities that, aren't so saintful, Hecate. Hecate is a goddess who delves in the dark and the light, and you know uh, uses the dead. Well, no, doesn't. No, Hecate doesn't use the dead. Um, I meant to say uh, necromancy uses the dead. But again, talking about Hecate, Hecate will definitely delve in the dark arts, but also, you know, in good deeds as well. The thing is, if you don't know what it is that Hecate likes, what their, what payment Hecate would actually like in return for granting your wish, you can cause yourself a lot of harm. So, again, there are a lot of deities out there who delve in the dark. And if you do not know what their price is, you can cause yourself a lot of harm. And, and again, talking about necromancy is actually calling upon the dead to help grant petitions, or help grant what it is that you're asking. But necromancy is very dark. So the dead that they call upon is more like dead witches, and dead the dead that was very dark while they were alive. So necromancy is very it's very dark. So again, with all these new shows coming out, in regards to magic, I just feel like, a lot of people, not just karmics, but a lot of people are curious. They're interested, and they're taking to the arts because it's become a bit of a popularity. The thing is, like I said before, there's a price. There's a price. Santa Muerta. She's another one of those. She's another one of those saints that, and I'm Hispanic, but I have never invoked her. Never. Quite frankly, she scares the shit out of me. Because the thing about her is this: once you invoke her, you can never stop invoking her. Now, for the ones who do, set up altars for her and that type of stuff, they stay consistent to her and always go to her for help. Well, then, yeah, she will always grant them wishes, but she also can be very vengeful. So again, there are so many deities out there that people just don't know about, and without really knowing about them and just taking the chance at playing with magic and not knowing, it can cause a lot of hurt to the target and to the person who casted, the petition. So I feel like, that is the reason why these dark energies are coming up. Because again, I feel like, with the popularity of, witchcraft shows, people are taking an interest and a curiosity to it. But again, you take somebody like Saint Expedite, who is an actual saint, who is a do-gooder, who will take back his petition in a heartbeat. Imagine calling upon deities, and there's a lot of them. I don't know all of them. I'm just naming a few. Imagine the deities that people call upon that were not saints. Again, Santa Muerta. Once you invoke her, you can never stop invoking her. Because if you do, she can be vengeful. She can be vengeful. And, that's just, that's why I've never taken to her, because, I get kind of lazy sometimes. I invoke my ancestors, and and I'm not always consistent with my ancestors. I'm not consistent with always giving them their offerings. I light my incense for them, their candles, give them, coffee, fruit, cakes, whatever, but I'm not consistent with it. But the thing about my ancestors is this: your ancestors will never hurt you. That's why, for me, that's the safest bet for me. When I'm doing any kind of conjure work or any kind of magic, I go to my ancestors, because at the end of the day, you cannot lose when it comes to your ancestors. Now, the thing about your ancestors, though, is that you can never ever do any kind of work against your family. Because if you want to piss off your ancestors, that would be the way to do it. A lot of people don't know that. You cannot, if you have family members that give you a hard time, that you don't get along with, and you want to cast spells on them, yeah, your ancestors will not. They will not put up with that. So I've learned that, not through experience. I knew. I've just always known. So, but I don't have family members that I'd ever want to, do any magic against anyways. But, it's something that I know. Ancestors do not like for you to go against other family members, because at the end of the day, you're all part of the same bloodline, so they won't pick sides. Your ancestors won't pick sides. But in regards to doing spells, in regards to doing conjure work, you want to go to your ancestors before anybody else, because they're the ones who are going to have your back, and they're the ones who are going to look out for your best interests before any other deity. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. Also, I just really wanted to say that I know my last reading was a bit, I was a bit angry, and I'll tell you, when you pick up on dark energies like that, it will get you riled up. So I do feel like that was probably why I was a bit riled up. I noticed that once I did spray my sage, I calmed down, but that's what dark energies do. They can bring out the worst in people. So imagine that was just a reading. I was picking up on the energy and I was upset. Imagine when a person, calls upon these dark deities and asks, for instance, a karmic, let's say a karmic, calls upon one of these dark entities and, says, listen, I want this man to be, I want to dominate him to me and only me. I don't want him to have anything to do with any other women, especially, this woman, the divine feminine, imagine, just imagine, how the divine masculine is going to act. The divine masculine then is going to start treating you bad, is going to start, talking to you ugly, start, just being very, very ugly with you. Because again, this karmic has latched, an entity onto them. And what happens is it breaks down the physical person, the 3D person. It may not be able to get to their 5D self, but it certainly gets to their 3D self. So then they start becoming, angry and mean and, start treating the divine feminine bad, because that's what they were created to do. They were created to stay away from the divine feminine, right? So, of course, that's why they act out on, the divine feminine, because they were created to do that, by these karmics. So, that was another reason why I would get upset, with some of the comments, because you see, a lot of people don't really understand how this works, so in their mind, they're leaving me comments like, well, he's being an asshole anyway, so my advice is, you all need to just let him go and blah blah blah. But they don't see the bigger picture. They don't see the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that it's really not this masculine's fault. It's not his fault, because, he was targeted, okay? He was targeted to stay away from the divine feminine. He was targeted to have an entity latch onto him. And the longer that the entity is latched onto that divine masculine, the more volatile he's going to be with everybody, because it breaks down the body. It breaks down the mind. It breaks down the body, the physical self. Okay? And that's the reason why Ascension came out, because it's like his higher self was calling out for help, So no coincidence that, You Are an Angel came out, because the higher self knows that, you're an angel, but my 3D self is rejecting you, because, they were created to do that, So, yeah, it kind of annoys me when people leave comments that they don't really understand. They want to put their 2 cents out and have a bit of a closed mind and not really understand that, no, there's a bigger picture here. There's more going on behind the scenes that you don't know, and you have to kind of know how magic works, and how dark entities and deities work, and how it breaks down the mind and the body, and how it will make the masculine really treat everybody around him terrible, So in cases like that, you can't really put, the mundane. You can't really give the mundane analogies. You can't, because it's not a mundane thing. It's a spiritual thing now, so that's why I got annoyed. And the other thing that annoyed me was that people were calling me out, like, like I need to just let it go. I need to. The readings are not for me, so it kind of upsets me when commenters will tell me that I need to just give it up. I need to just let let it go. That reading was not for me. I don't give my personal readings online. I've done it twice. One was just for an example read, but I never read for myself. These readings are for the collective. They're not for me. So yeah, that annoys me too, when viewers try to tell me that I need to stop being obsessed, and I need to stop. No, I'm not obsessed. The readings are not for me. The readings are for the people who need to hear the message. And again, I got an overwhelming amount of emails from people thanking me, you know, for relating those messages, because they kind of thought they were going crazy, and it was good to get some validation that they're not crazy, that there is other things going on. um, you know but I'm not just a dark reader. I'm a light reader as well. I'm just one of the few that happens to know a lot about magic and the conjure world and the divination world. I know the arts, and so I'm able to incorporate both the dark and the light. And so, to where a lot of twin flame readers are, all about the love and light and high vibration, and and that's all fine and good. In fact, that's that's the popular vote. It is, but that's just not the kind of reader that I am. And I have to be true to myself. you know I have to be true to who I am, and I have to be true to what the messages are are being related. When I see these cards, I have to relate them as I see them. I'm not gonna try to fix it to sound good. I'm not gonna fix it to I'm not gonna fix it to turn it into something positive if it's not. That's just not me. I'm not gonna do that. I read the cards how I see them, and that's it. But I don't want people to think that I'm just a dark reader, because I'm not. I've always said I'm a gray reader, because I you know I mean, I think it's very positive, to read light. I think it's very positive to be on a high vibration. I believe in all that. I believe in all those things that that the light readers believe in. I believe in those too, but I also believe in the balance of life. And the balance of life is that you have dark and you have light, you have good, you have bad, you have a moon, you have a sun. you know that's the balance of life, and I believe in the balance of life. I'm a Libra sun to begin with, so I'm all about balance. I'm not just one way, which is why I always say I'm a gray reader, because I touch on both. So you know. I definitely don't want to scare viewers away, but I do want to ask that, if I am relating a dark message, I'm always going to, at least put a disclaimer, so that, you'll know. Um, that way you'll know from the title that it's a darker read, and that way you don't have to watch it. But not all my readings are like that. But if it comes through, I'm gonna honor that because that's what Spirit's giving me. And again, there's not a whole lot of readers who are gonna touch on that. So, Spirit is, using me as a beacon to relate those messages. So, and again, I'm gonna honor that. So anyways, I just wanted to, just say that and, just give a little bit more information because I did say that I would do a little bit of research and, I didn't do research it so much as, I just really had a heart to heart with Spirit and really tried to hear what Spirit had to tell me. And again, what Spirit was telling me was that, with the popularity of these TV shows and whatnot, it's brought on a curiosity and people are interested. There's a very popular spell going on right now called Doom, which is death unto my enemies. That is definitely something to watch out for because karmics are using those spells against divine feminines. So just always try to keep yourself protected. And that is another reason why I am a bit of a dark reader is because, hey, I'm here for the divine feminines. I'm not here for the karmics. I mean, I read on the karmic to kind of, make sure that, my girls are protected, and that's why I read on the karmic. I'm not obsessed with the karmic. But, I'm here to protect my girls. That's the bottom line. And so that's why I read on the karmic to let you all know. Now for the karmic situations that don't have to do with magic, well, I feel like it's sometimes healing to kind of get the point of view of the karmic situation and the divine masculine. Sometimes it's healing, because, you don't always know what's going on behind the scenes. I really don't like using that word behind the scenes because, um, there are certain readers where that's kind of their segment, and I try very, very hard not to steal other readers, lingos and segments. I don't. That's one thing about me. I do not. I try not to steal other readers' thunders. I'm not like that. So I don't really like saying that. I just don't know another way to put that. But what I'm trying to say is that sometimes it is healing to know what's going on in the relationship of the divine masculine and the karmic. Behind the scenes, what you don't know, what their situation is going through. And sometimes, it's a bit healing to know that, it's not always peaches and cream, that might be, some might call that low vibrational, but, I call it, I call it a bit of hope, I call it a little bit of hope, sometimes when that things are not all what they seem to be, people post stuff on social media all the time, making things look like it's all beautiful and everything's great, but that's not always the case. That's not always what's going on. And so sometimes it's kind of good to, see what's going on, in the real situation, not, by the pretend social media. Sometimes it can be healing. So, that's why I do it. That's why I do it. I don't do it because I'm obsessed with the karmic. I don't do it because, I'm constantly wanting to know, what's going on in my situation. I don't even really do a lot of readings, on my situation, anymore. I don't. I've kind of just surrendered my situation, because I just I just want to be happy. I want to be happy. I don't want to be stuck on that. Um, but I'm continuing to do it because I'm doing it for the collective. I'm doing it for all of you. Because there really isn't a whole lot of three-party readers. And, you know, I want to make sure that I'm helping you all that are in three-party situations. The way I see it, Spirit gave me the calling to do that, and I want to honor that. I want to honor, I try to always honor what Spirit tells me. And so, you know, that's just kind of something that I live by. Which is why also, if they give me darker messages, I'm going to relate them, because, you know, people out there need to hear. And again, I was really surprised as to how many people actually are going through that. And I feel for you all. I do. I feel for you all. And it's a difficult situation. It's difficult. But again, you know just let me explain one more time. Your divine masculine, it's not really his fault, because if he has an entity that's latched onto him, that entity is taking over him, taking over his mind, his body. And when an entity is bad, it's going to make the person bad. So it's not like he's purposely trying to be an asshole. It's not like he's purposely trying to hurt you. He doesn't know any better, And again, that's only for, the people who are going through this situation, and another thing that I want to say is that, not everybody is Christian. Not everybody's Christian, and not everybody believes in spiritual things. There are a lot of atheists out there. There are a lot of Satanisms out there. And so their views are not going to be the same as, us Christians. And so, we have to. So when we make comments, we have to consider that not all of us believe in the same thing. Not all of us believe in the same thing. So, I'm just really kind of against the judgmental people, because not everybody is going to believe what you believe. And, we have to be open-minded to that, because, yeah, there are atheists out there. There are people who are Satanisms. And, and even though as Christians, we may not agree to their beliefs, we do have to agree to disagree, and we can't judge them for it, so we do have to be careful, in being too judgmental in the comments, And I guess that's why I was really upset in my last video. I erased a lot of comments, and and I was upset because there was a lot of closed-minded people that left comments, and I'm just thinking, you have no clue what's going on. You have no clue, and you're leaving comments based on if this was a basic three-party situation read, when I clearly, put in the title, this is not going to be for everybody. And in the reading, I said this was not going to be for everybody. And in the reading, I was saying there's dark energies going on. So yeah, I got annoyed. And I got pissed off. But at the same time, I think it was the energies that I was drawing in that was also riling me up a bit. Again, when I saged, I did feel better. I noticed I calmed down. So, I'm going to have to make sure that I just do always have sage near me. I love that spray. I talk about it all the time. It's called Sage That Shit, and it's basically sage in a bottle, and you spray it. You know, I just and I always have it near me, so I think it's a good idea to kind of continue to have that near me when I do readings, because I am a gray reader, and I am going to pick up on dark energies, and so it's probably best for me to have that handy. But anyways, that's all I wanted to say. So anyways, have a good night, all of you, and we'll talk to you on the next one. Bye.